In this section, we're going to have a look at jump commands. Now, I want to start this by saying that I don't actually promote using jump commands, and there are plenty of other ways of ensuring that you do some logic or don't do some logic without physically moving where the PLC is looking. But what a jump command does is effectively jump from one place to another based on the jump command moving to a label. So if I put a jump command here and then drop a label here, and I type JMP1, you can put whatever you want here. And then when I come to here, I can see JMP1. And effectively what this will do is if this is true before the JMP coil, it will jump from here to here. And we can test this by putting a network in the middle that simply says true and sets bools B1 to true. So let's download this and see what happens. And we're actually met with a compile error that says jump labels are not permitted on an empty network, which is this one here. So let me add in another one that says, we'll look at this one that says bools B1 sets bools B2. So if at any point this section is scanned, B1 will get set to true and B1 will then set B2. So even if we're no longer scanning this bit, at some point it was scanned because B2 is now true. So let's send this down. And what we can see here is network 1 is green or energized because we're connected directly to the power rail with nothing between it and the coil. So the jump is in effect, is jumping from here to here, where B1 is not set and therefore B2 is not set. And here we can see it's gray, and gray means it's not being scanned. So we're jumping over this network, which means that, yeah, it's effectively, there's nothing happening. There are always better ways of managing code than jumping. I'm very surprised that jumps are still available. And for those that have gone off and had a look at the additional timer article that was linked above, the use case, that's an actual proper use case for jumps and why they can be beneficial sometimes, but very rarely are they used like that. More often than not, you end up with people jumping over sections of code that are either no longer relevant or to change the behavior of the logic, and they get left behind or become the new temporary permanent solution. But yeah, I would use a jump as a last resort or to enforce a very specific reason as to why you're skipping over something, which is usually two function blocks that use the same instance data but have different preset variables and things like that. Again, not a very common use case for it, but those uses are out there. But simply putting everything into, say, OB1 and then using jumps to jump to a different section of OB1, you're effectively creating a function block. You know, you're only turning on a section of networks, maybe 10 networks, when a condition that's defined here is true. Well, you're creating a function block, and you're better off putting everything that you're jumping to in a function block and just calling the function block instead. That's a much better way of doing things.